Okay, I'm just going to talk about my idea for the podcast. My sort of see this as like an early business plan about what direction I see it going in. So, one thing I like about the podcast is I believe it's a very scalable thing because it's easy to have a conversation with someone. So it's very easy to produce content. You know, if you're doing travel videos or something, that's very dependent on a lot of things that needs to be in place. Like you need to have the finances to travel to the places you want to vlog about. You know, if you're doing if you're sort of I'm trying to think of other YouTube content that's harder, or just content in general. I mean, I guess that's the only example I can think of. But you see what I'm getting at? Like, it's very easy to produce content for a podcast, and the content effectively promotes itself because everyone who bothers, first of all, most people kind of want to be on a podcast. It's amazing the times I'm like, oh, do I fancy being on a podcast? And someone's like, oh, actually, yeah, I've always wanted to do that. That's literally what everyone who's been on the podcast said to me. So yeah, and that's the other thing. So it's very easy to get people on, and it's also very easy to, it's also very easy to promote. It kind of promotes itself because the person who has been on the podcast, uh, first of all, they're likely talking about something they're very interested in, and what podcast provides them with is a unique frame point where people they're sort of talking, they're sort of being able to reveal, to talk about, express what they're interested in. They're just gonna want people to listen to it. They'll be like, oh, whether that's just putting it on their story or or putting it, just showing friends when it comes up in conversation, like, oh yeah, I actually on a podcast with someone about this, and I'm like, oh really? Oh, where can I listen to it? And they'll be like, oh yeah, on YouTube. So I do no promotion, actually, for the podcast, which is refreshing because with music, I was doing an awful lot of promotion. Excuse me, off my own back. I don't even have a Instagram account for the podcast. I will get one at some point, but it just doesn't seem worth the sort of mental strain of having to deal with social media this stage in the game. So, probably would be slightly more successful with social media. But I'm not really too worried. I'm more worried about just finding sort of honing in the craft for now. And then when it's really getting going, I can get an Instagram behind it and just blow up. So that's the other thing. So it kind of promotes itself very well. And I'm saying all this, but how do we know it's true? Well, I've been amazed by the success of the podcast. So I had one episode. I got 60 views. So, and the guy who was on it just put it on his story, and all his friends watched it basically. So it's extremely scalable, is what I'm getting at, because let's say 60 people view it, maybe one person decides to subscribe, and suddenly, oh, you got 3 subscribers. And and especially if you're interviewing in a sort of small circle. So, for example, I'm really sort of doing the rounds of musicians I know. There's a kind of scene in that, So I interview one person on the scene, the sort of open mic scene, let's say, or the student scene, and then suddenly, there's this person to interview as well. So you can kind of build up these little pockets of people who know about you and are following you. So the podcast can grow through that very, very effortlessly. And yeah, so my kind of plan with it really now is to hit 100 episodes. So I'm not really thinking about subscribers. I'm not really interested in the... Well, of course I am to an extent, but I'm not really interested in how big the guests are. I really am just, I think... excuse me, this podcast... but its lifespan at the moment, this is the time just to have whoever the fuck I want on. It doesn't really matter who they are. All I need to do is just hit that 100 podcasts, and then people will be... I can be like... It can be a really solid, established thing by that point. I tell people, I do a podcast, and they'll be like, they'll look at it on YouTube and they'll be like, oh fuck, he's actually got fuck ton of content here. This guy's really serious. By that point, I'll have a really good idea how I want to format talking to guests on the podcast. I have a really good idea of how to like the sort of ins and outs of submitting, uploading podcasts, just producing the podcast generally. So stuff like where's a good place to meet, what sort of kit I need to use for the podcast, what like stitching bits of videos together, which I know sounds silly, but I've had a few podcasts where I've had to pause it because someone needs to go for a piss or whatever, and then I just have 2 bits of footage, and that's... I mean, I can just whack that on Clipchamp on my computer and stitch together, and I've finalised the process now. But it's actually I know it sounds very basic, but it's actually really long on the software I'm using. Like it's quite difficult software to use. So just stuff like that becomes very streamlined, and you just know what you're doing. 100 subs, 100. Fuck, I keep doing it. 100 videos. Sorry. And from there, I don't know. I want to set one goal at a time. But what I imagine I'll do is to try and just set a target for the numbers of subscribers I want to hit, and and so going back to the sort of thing about scalability, part of why I want to do this just generally is because if I watch a YouTube video or whatever, or I listen to a podcast or something, there are always questions that I have that aren't answered. So try and think of an example. So let's say Andrew Tate, for example, will say something like, marriage is the most beautiful thing, like the love a man and woman share is one of the most beautiful things in the world. He said that quite a lot. He's quite a traditional guy. But then his actual lifestyle is very... doesn't reflect that. He's not married. Even though he kind of advocates for it, weirdly. And, I don't know, that's a question. I really want to get into that. I think that'd be really interesting. So anyway, that's a bit off topic, but the point is that I want to ask these people, like, what exactly did you mean here? And so what I find with the podcast is it's a long-term way to do it. So, I think I can just, as I get more established, I can get slightly, I can hit slightly higher, more established people, and I can't just call up Jocko Willing or something at 100 videos. I'm saying that, but there's a certain level you can go to where at 100, if you've got 100 videos on your YouTube channel and maybe a few followers go along with it, there's a certain point where actually more people will take you slightly more seriously. So, and I have a sort of list on my computer of kind of people I think I'll be more able to contact when I'm at this sort of intermediate stage of, it's quite it's a small podcast, but it's not just what it is now, which is just me sort of fucking about. I've got 3 subscribers. I'm just slightly established. So, just to give you examples, Lil T was a rapper, a rapper who went viral. Must be, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago. Like, he was sort of really little kid at the time. It was like, I don't know, 14, 15, and he just went viral and everyone started taking the piss out of his rap videos. But he got quite famous off it, and as I become sort of more established, maybe he's someone I could contact. I think Luke Ranieri, he's a quite an established YouTuber on the subject of Latin, the Latin language, specifically like using it as a spoken language today. And I'd love to get him on it. I think that'd be a really fascinating conversation we can have. Maybe talk a bit of Latin together as well. I think that'd be really fun. I've actually already I reached out to him actually, and he was interested just right off the bat. But my own organisation let me down. I didn't get back to him in time, which is a real shame. But I think if I'm a bit more established, and I've set up properly, and I reach out to him again, it will be he'll be like, oh, actually, this guy's, he's small time, but he's clearly, there's something going on here. So like that's kind of what I'm talking about when I say I can reach out to more famous people. I mean, they're more extreme examples, but that gives you some idea. It's not like none of them are like Jordan Peterson or something like that, but there's a kind of middle category, and that is extremely scalable as well, because how many people would want to see a podcast on Little T? That would be brilliant, and that would really reach the podcast to new levels, because now people will be like, oh fuck, who's this guy who interviewed Little T? Oh, that's really interesting. Get that a watch, and then I pop up on Instagram Shorts a week after interviewing someone, Luke Ranieri, and they're like, oh fuck, this guy's going places. So obviously it's a bit of a I'm probably not illustrating it very well, but I hope that sort of explains my mindset with it. And I mean, the reason I'm making this video is because I just want to show sort of how I think things are possible if you just, like, it's going to take an awful, this process that I'm talking about is going to probably take me years. If I decide to fully go down it at all, I mean, I've got a degree at the moment. There are lots of other things I want to do with my life, and I need to do a lot of a lot of sort of thinking, deliberating on where I see my life going after my degree. But I could have this as a side hustle for the next few years, and if I really double down on it properly, I just don't see myself failing with it, which is, maybe I'm being too optimistic. I'm not saying it's going to be easy at all. I think it's going to be extremely difficult. It's going to be really long, and there's going to be a lot of time I'm sick of it. I'm going to want to drop it and do something else. But I just see such a clear roadmap ahead of me. It really is just hours behind the wheel with it. I hit 100 videos, build up, let's say 20 followers from that. Then I start reaching out to, these sort of more established, let's say, musicians. I get an interview with a newly signed band. They promote that to their audience. Then I interview other bands. They promote that to their audience. That builds up. I'm just using the example. Suddenly I get 100 followers from that, and then I Instagram Lil T. I say, "Oh, come on the podcast." And he's like, "Who's this guy?" "Oh, he's got 100 followers," or I don't know, 1K followers, or however long it is. And he's like, "Yeah, I'm down." Get him on the podcast, and then it's just such simple steps, and then it will just catch fire. I really do see that, and I think it's gonna be a very slow process. I mean, I've been doing this for just about a year now since I did my first one, and I've done about 10, 15 podcasts in total. So the rate's been slow. It's been very slow. But if it's something I decide to double down on, then I just don't see what's gonna happen. Some leprechaun's just gonna jump out of the wilderness and just delete all my followers. Like I say, there are going to be times when I want to give up. I'm going to have to produce these videos at a much higher rate, and even then, it's still going to be slow. A lot of videos I'm going to do very well. A lot of them aren't going to be very good. But it's just, if I just keep my eyes on the sort of business plan, I really don't see what's going to go wrong. So, yeah, this is my mindset with the podcast, basically.